What's up, Cuddy? What's up, you, buddy? We're going. Just saying what's up. I'm in nerd class. I'm full throttle today, baby. I got that Rio. Hey, 84. I wrote down some bars last night for you. I got about half a page of bars. You ready to do that collab together? So I thought I'd just jump on here. What's up, Carolina? What's up, Ray? What's up, 87? What's up, Elko? All right, so let me show y'all something right quick. So I ordered, all right, so this truck has a factory oil cooler, right? So this truck had a factory oil cooler that ran through the stock radiator, or radiator, whatever how you want to say it, right? So I went to Evil Energy, and Evil Energy had a oil cooler kit that said fits most vehicles. So I'm gonna go and tell y'all right now, it says it fits most vehicles. Well, it don't fit this vehicle. It don't fit that 302, so I don't know what vehicle it fits, but it definitely don't fit this 4.3 V6, and it does not fit that 302. So here's the problem. So there's one like this already on the truck, a factory one, okay? This one is what came in the kit, right? So you got A&N fittings, right? You got A&N fittings that come with the kit, and these screw in like this, right? You got two of these, right? Okay. You got two of these, all right? And then you got the hoses, right? So here's the hoses, right? Nice hoses. Now it's a nice kit. Now I'm not kicking the kit. What I'm kicking is it don't fit. And then here is the cooler, right? So here's the cooler, right? A&N lines. These are -8. Screws on there like that. And then this is supposed to go on the block, right? And then this screws onto that, right? And then if you wanted to put a remote oil gauge, you can put one here or one there, or whatever. All right. So also, it comes with two of these extensions, right? You have a 3/4 16 thread, and what that means is it's a 3/4 and it's 16 threads per inch. And then you have this M20, 1.5 threads per inch. So this is metric and this is standard. So what this is for is, I'll show you on this 302 where the oil, right? So there's where the oil goes, right? So you would have the factory oil thread that goes there. Then that goes up there like that. And then, woo, that was close. Y'all see them spider skills? And then this would go through that and screw onto that. And then you got your O-rings. You got your O-rings on this side, which would be the O-ring side to that right there. And then it would tighten up, right? And then you got a remote oil filter. Then your oil filter would screw on here because you extended this out, right? So your oil filter will screw there, and then that would screw on to where the oil filter would regular go, and you'd have a remote oil filter, or you'd have an oil filter, and then you'd have a oil cooler, right? So the problem is, here's the problem. So let me show you. Let me show you what the problem is. The problem is I took, damn, it's hot, boys, already. So the problem is I took the block off of this 4.3 V6, which is basically a small block, right? I took the block off and tried to put this block up there, and it doesn't fit. This doesn't fit, which is 3/4, and that doesn't fit, which is metric, which I mean, it can either or, right? So neither one of those fit, right? So this fitting right here is what is screwed in to the factory block. There's a block like this that's on the engine, and I'm gonna crawl down there and I'm gonna show it to you. It is greasy. Good God Almighty, it's greasy. All right. So these threads are 3/8 National Pipe Thread, which is 3/8 NPT. That's Nancy Paul Tango, National Pipe Thread. These threads here is this type of thread, okay? Right? So I said, well, let me see if I can do this. So these fittings right here are like $40 a piece. This is the factory, right? So I said, let's do this. I take this out, and then let's see, you know, because this should be National Pipe Thread too, right? And I went to see if I could just screw this in place of that. Well. That's not the same, right? So let me turn this around here and I'm gonna show you. Y'all just hang tight. Hang tight. So I said, well, let's see if this fits, right? That does not fit. It starts, but it don't force it. So it don't fit. It's not the right one. So I took this, crawled underneath the truck to see if it would screw into the factory block. It does, but it wobbles. It's got the wobble. The wobble. So I'm afraid it's going to leak. So I have a couple options. Couple options is I can take this to Viking Hoses, which is in Randleman, which is about an hour north of me, and tell them that I need to go from this thread, which is 3/8 National Pipe Thread, to this thread, so I can screw that into that. So I need a bushing or a coupling, right? So I can screw that in there. Ray, we not putting JB Weld on shit around here, Ray. Come on now, Ray, you can do better than that. So I can go to Viking Hosing and say I need 3/8 National Pipe Thread to this, a bushing, right? And then screw this back into the factory block, and then screw that into that bushing. That will get me that hose. That will get me to that, all right? By doing that, then I could take the A&N hose that came with the kit, the A&N hose, and screw that on there. All right? And then I can run this hose to the cooler, right? Or I could see if they could take and go from this threads to the A&N threads right there and make me a new line, a stainless steel braided line, and go from point A to point B and then put the remote cooler on it. I could do that, right? Well. I don't feel like driving an hour north to go up there and try to figure something out and then turn around and spend a couple hours up there and then turn around and drive an hour back and then get here and nothing goes the way I want it to go. So, and the time is cooking. The 17th will be here before you know it. And I really like to get this thing up and take it to the Peach Festival, cruise in, and enjoy a little bit of R&R. So what I did is I went to 3 friggin' hardwares and 2 part stores to find a 3/8 plug. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this 3/8 plug and I'm gonna put it in place of this, and I'm gonna block off these 2 lines I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna block off these 2 ports on the engine. So I'm gonna put some thread tape on here, and I'm gonna put this in there, and I'm gonna take the other one and I'm gonna put that on there, and I'm gonna block off these 3/8 ports, and I am going to put a new oil filter on, and I'm gonna put new oil in because I drained the oil last night, and then that will be done. And then once that is done, then I'm pretty much eliminating the oil cooler, and then I can finish doing the tabs to hold the radiator. So let me see if I can get down here and show y'all without getting 100% greasy today, because I don't feel like getting greasy like right this moment. So I'm telling you, I made a mess on the concrete. I'm talking for sure. I got a mess right there. You see it right there? You see those 2 ports? I gotta block those 2 ports off. And that's what those 3/8 plugs are, to block those 2 ports off. And then since I'm already here, I went and got a new oil pressure sender unit because I'm already here, so might as well replace it too. It's like $12. And then I drained the oil, and then I put a new oil in the oil filter, and I'll just block off those 2 ports right there, and I'll come back to it at a later date to fix it, to see if I can go to Viking Hose to get a figure out the line situation. And then I reached out to Evil Energy because I said, well, if it don't fit this 302, if it don't fit this 4.3, maybe it'll fit this 302 and I can put it on this 302. It doesn't even fit this 302. So I don't know what Evil Energy, I don't know what this fits, but right now it doesn't fit a small block Chevrolet or a 4.3, and it doesn't fit a 302. So I don't know what John Brown it fits, but it don't fit either one of these. So with that being said, that's that. So yeah, it is brutal hot. Give you a little update. Hey, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Little bit of design change on this. So I did done one of these little radius things right here on this side to kind of match this. Got the 2 holes cut for the turn signal and the backup lights. Done the same thing on that side. No, the original one didn't leak, Elko. The problem was when I ordered this radiator, when I ordered this new radiator doesn't have an oil cooler on the radiator. So I had nowhere to put these lines. See, this screwed into the factory radiator, right? So the oil cooler ran on that side of the radiator, and the transmission run on this side of the radiator. Well, this new aftermarket radiator, I didn't notice it. Wasn't really paying attention. Didn't notice it. It said oil and transmission cooler, but it only has 1 port. So it didn't have anywhere for me to put the the oil cooler lines on. So what I did is I just ordered that Evil Energy kit because it was like $90 for the kit. And I said, well, I'll just put a remote oil filter on, a remote oil cooler on it. Well, the problem was, like I said, none of that stuff fit. So let me show you this right here. So we're gonna cut and put the exhaust here and there instead of doing it on the other one. So, all right, boys and girls, I got a delivery truck here. I knew they were coming, but I was supposed to be here at 12 o'clock, but they're here earlier. So I appreciate every single one of you. Hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button. I apologize for not being live, but I took a break. It was the 4th. I actually just took a break, and I've been working on, and we'll go from there. Oh, it's okay, Elko. No problem, buddy. It's all good. Hey, hit that notification bell, hit the subscribe button. I'll jump back on here later today, give y'all an update what's going on. I appreciate what I said. Remember I said, don't worry about the man up the road, down the road. Sweep off your own front porch before sweeping off anybody else's. Put God first.